Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Ryan, Ford's Archives and Heritage Brand Manager. I want to make sure I had your title right, Ted, because you're a busy guy with this whole heritage fleet going on, man. This is crazy.
It's been an exciting year. Yesterday was a culmination of a year's worth of work. And literally, I got one of those emails that every archivist in a corporate setting loves. I got an email from the CEO just over a year ago, and he said, I just saw the heritage fleet in England, and they use it spectacularly to drive their business. I want to do the same thing in the United States. We've never had a fleet. Go find me one. Go find these cars. And I actually, in one of the notes said, I know they're hidden in closets and under rocks, but go find the cars that we know are available in North America. And so that's what we spent the last year doing.
So what's the first step?
First step is I reached out to a bunch of different, actually the first step is in a very geeky archivist way. We wrote a collections policy because you can't just collect willy-nilly. We actually have a very 21-page policy on how to collect our photographs and paper and this and that and the other. But what cars are you going to collect? And more importantly, what cars aren't you going to collect? So we worked with legal, we worked with the different teams, Ford Performance, marketing, public relations, product development, and created this list of basically collections policies. How many of each will we keep? You know, that kind of, you can't keep everything and you can't keep one of everything. So after we had that collections policy, we worked with the partners and put out word, hey, if there's any cool stuff out there, let me know. And we found some really cool stuff.
Yeah, you did. There's stuff, Ted, the images that we saw, and obviously with this heritage fleet, for explain to people, 120 years of Ford, and we're so glad that you guys are doing this, but to share this, which I assume we're going to get to a point beyond where people are going to be able to view this. Isn't that?
That is the goal. The long-term goal. Currently, it's in headquarters, so it's got to be Ford employees and select events. But Woodward Dream Cruise is going to be a whole lot different this year with this fleet now that we can demonstrate. And we can also take it to our different plants as they do their open houses. We can work with our partners like the Henry Ford and the Gilmore to put different cars on display, many of which were hidden. A lot of people didn't know these things existed. You know, the 10-cylinder Mustang, we kept that thing a secret for years.
Right, including you. Were there some cars you went, we have that? I mean, were there moments?
The big one was late last year when I got an email saying, by the way, the very first F-150 off the line is covered with a tarp and is in an annex at the Rouge. Oh, and by the way, the last Mustang off the line at Dearborn Assembly is covered with a tarp at that same place. So we went out and took a look at them. It's like son of a gun. And the plant managers had basically hidden those cars. They knew how important they were, but there wasn't a home where those important cars could live. So by now encompassing and embracing this fleet concept and making it active, people are bringing forward their treasures that they've been hiding. They knew they were important, but there wasn't really any place for them to go.
And you mentioned the 10-cylinder Mustang. Walk me through that. So what year is that again?
Oh, God, I don't know the date off the top of my head. It was late 90s. It was an experiment before the GT. It was a bridge between the Shelby and what became the GT. It's like, how can we make a high performance vehicle? And Nick Jersey was telling me yesterday, we had 10-cylinder trucks, so we knew the technology, but how do you fit that in a sedan? And so it was a one-off. The engineers figured out how to do it. When we get it running again, they're still working on it. There was a fuel leak that they're correcting. Nick said he's going to take me on it. He said the thing will fly.
When you look at the heritage fleet with Ford too, the thing I always think about is if you're an artist and you have a concept, you can draw like an outline of a photo and go, all right, I'm going to paint this. And I'm oversimplifying it. But the commitment to build a prototype of any type of these heritage vehicles, this is years of work that's gone into these and hundreds and thousands of people that may have had their fingers on this. For you to bring this back, I'm sure you're going to have people coming out of the woodwork going, I worked on that. I remember when we did this.
I've gotten 5 emails already, Jim.
That's awesome.
That just shows you how wide the story spread. But I got emails from retired product development people. I got emails from retired program managers. I've gotten emails from dealers saying, oh my gosh, I remember that. I worked on that. You know, we were part of that. And we're going to figure out how to make this fleet available to the true fans of Ford out there. And let me be clear, we're not replacing the Henry Ford and we're not usurping the Henry Ford. Right. They have their role and they have an amazing collection, and we'll still continue to contribute cars to the Henry Ford when it meets their collection policy. But these are things that live outside of a museum world. This is a living, breathing fleet. And I got an email from our head of design yesterday, and the designers are going to go en masse next week to go visit the fleet as it is currently in the garage. So it's going to be used for business purposes.
The 49, that is what year that concept car? That's about 10 or 15 years ago, isn't it?
I'm horrible with dates. Jim, don't ask me dates. Yeah.
10 or 15 years ago. But that concept's unlike anything I've ever seen. And it's stunning. It's stunning. And the fact that you guys have that. Do you find yourself staring at some of the fleet when you were there, just looking, like some of the cars you just gravitate to?
I do, and honestly, the design ones, the GTs are impactful, and the way that we have them currently displayed, there's 7 GTs done in a big circle. So you see the 2004, VIN number 1,
Right.
and it's impactful when you see it like that. The Mustangs are great, but you see a row of Mustangs, and by the time you get to the 7th, it's not quite as cool as it was when you saw the first. Even though, we had 3 Cobra R serial 1s in a row. That doesn't happen very.
No.
That doesn't happen very often. And then my other favorite is my 1938 ambulance, which is great, and then the Mustang that was on the Empire State Building, because they built the fake elevator, and we had the fake elevator next to the car, so you can see exactly how we did it.
How did you do it?
What they did is they built this wooden elevator, and they cut the car into 6 different pieces, along with the tires and the interior, because it had to fit in this 36-inch door opening, which was there are no huge freight elevators in the Empire State Building, so it had to fit in there. So they put it in there, got it to the top floor, and they had 6 hours to build it between midnight and 6 a.m. so that at 7 a.m. we could be ready for our media event. It's amazing.
Is the person who said, "Yeah, sure, we can do that," are they still a member of Ford Motor Company when they?
I don't know, but
We can get out.
No, but we did have Saeed Deep there yesterday. Saeed was the PR manager for that project.
Oh, my God.
And he was telling the story about it. He said, we planned for everything except snow. And he said it started snowing as we're trying to build this car at midnight on April the 16th. So they overcame a lot of stuff to get it done.
There's an emotional component to cars. I mean, you and I have talked about this, Ted. I mean, that the Ford Motor Company over 120 years, when you talk about the heritage fleet, there's an emotional connection. And I think it's a deeper connection when we realize all these different products and variations of it, that what we see on the road and what could have been. It sparks like my mind starts wandering like, well, what if we did that? Like, the other one the reason I bring this up is I remember the original concepts for the Bronco. That's 2004 when we were talking about it. And to see that, and I couldn't come yesterday. I had something I couldn't get out of, and I'm bumming, but.
Well, Jim, you've got an open invitation. You set a time, and I'll meet you there, and I'll walk you through it.
But do you, when you like, to me, I still look at that silver gray 2004 Bronco, and I was looking at somebody had an Everglades version, and I was thinking to myself, wow, that's 20 years, and it evolved. It happened. The stories, do you stop and understand the significance of this collection, what it means?
I have not had the time to reflect yet on what it all means, because it's been a whirlwind of, oh my gosh, I found this one. Oh, here's this one. Working with legal to get the rules and regulations around the fleet in place, working with finance to make, it's been a whirlwind. I'll sit back and think about it in a couple of weeks. But that Bronco one, that's the one that we loaned The Rock. The Rock saw it in the studio and said, I love that car. So we gave it to him for a film. And the one rule was, better not break it. Please bring it back in one piece. So he did. And I hate to do it, but I've actually got to jump in a second to do another call. But I'm excited about this. And you have an open invitation to visit the fleet anytime you want to come and see it.
Ted Ryan, always love talking to you. Ford Archives and Heritage Brand Manager. The Heritage Fleet is out. We'll talk soon, and I'm going to take you up on that offer. Thank you, buddy.